Oh, what's going on there, Siege noobs? In this video, we're going to go quickly over the tutorials of what is going to be coming out in Operation Heavy Mettle. They have a new tutorial system that goes over basics, attacks, and defense. So this is going to be just essentially me going through those tutorials and then also giving my feedback in addition to that. I've played this game since the beginning for 8 years, so my feedback might be valuable. And then at the very end, I'm going to give my thoughts of the onboarding that they're putting into the game and some suggestions that could potentially make it even better. When you first enter the game, this is obviously the test server right now, but you'll need to go into play, and then under training is where you can find the tutorials. So I'm going to enter these tutorials, and it says we're going to master the basics by learning core mechanics unique to Siege, which is going to be about 6 to 15 minutes. Then you have 5 to 12 minutes for attack, 5 to 12 minutes for defense. So we're going to take a look at these mechanics, what they tell you about, and then I'll see if I can add anything on top of it afterwards. So starting out with the basics.
Welcome to the first part of the Rainbow Operations Staff Training. I'm Mira, Defense Instructor of the ROS team.
And I'm Zero, Attack Instructor. We'll guide you through the basics of operations. Movement, shooting, navigation, environment, etc.
For this portion, you will act as Sledge. His unique ability will help you control your environment.
Here we are. Let's see what you got, Specialist.
Your health is on the bottom left. Keep an eye on it. We'll be guiding you using pings, like the ones in your comms display. There are 2 types, location pings on the left and opponent pings on the right.
Maneuver your camera to follow my ping.
Great, now walk to the target zone.
All right, so first they're teaching you just how to move the mouse. So if anyone's new to mouse and keyboard, this is an area that you can start to move around. WASD is obviously a default to move in a lot of games.
Area on the other side. You'll have to go around to continue your training.
All right, so right now, even though I know how to sprint, it's
slow.
There we go.
Try sprinting.
Sprint it.
Now let's get to that shooting range barrier there.
Shoot the target.
All right, so you can press left click to hip fire.
Now try while aiming down your sights.
And then it
Notice the difference.
teaches you to ADS. Obviously, that's going to be much more accurate.
Your ammo's limited. Don't waste your shots.
Reload early if you have to. Waiting till the last second can leave you vulnerable at a critical moment.
If you do run out of ammo, switch to your backup weapon. You can't always rely on your primary one.
Switch them out.
Try your secondary weapon on this target.
Now back to your primary.
See the prompt? You can climb over some barriers, including this one.
All right, so teaching you how to swap weapons. You can either use the scroll wheel. So a lot of people get rid of the scroll wheel just because sometimes if your default gadget, it's going to be on the middle button, which we'll see later. So if you try to use your gadget and instead you swipe up, you might switch guns. But you can disable that, so then you can use 2 and 1 to swap your weapons instead.
Keep moving to that next spot. See if you can climb that ladder.
Use spacebar to climb a ladder. These are all default settings.
Targets. You'll need to lean to see around these tight corners.
Go to the door and lean left. Then shoot the target on the other side. Now here, get close to the window and lean right to shoot the next target.
And if you need a refresher,
That's good.
you
It's
can check the
teaching
control
you
layout.
to check your corners. Obviously, you can eventually you'll be able to do your little Shiko peeks, which is, you know, moving back and forth. I'm not mechanically great at this, but
You're coming along nicely, Specialist. Let's test your endurance.
so I guess during tutorials, if you hit tab, it's going to pull up your settings, right? So it's kind of a recap of everything that we've done so far. And then devices, it says controls will appear here after completing the related task. So far, the onboarding seems pretty solid. No complaints.
We set up an obstacle course through that door.
All right, so I've got to vault through the window. We got to move to the obstacle course. Let's see what it is.
Speed isn't everything. Stealth and precision will help you avoid detection.
Check this sound meter to learn how much sound your actions make. You won't have it in the field.
First, try crouching. You'll be a smaller target and make less noise.
This sound meter is actually pretty cool, but it sometimes when you are like moving through maps, you can see the difference between crouching, the noise that I'm making, and then standing. Like that's a significant difference. So if you know that the defenders or attackers, like they don't know that you're there, this is such a huge difference when you're crouching and ADSing, because you're 1 speed when you're ADSing. But that's actually pretty wild, that sound difference.
Now, vault over this window. Vaulting can be
And then if we look at
stay alert.
sprinting, you can see as a 1 speed, because Sledge is a 1 speed, look at how loud your sprint is. So if I was, say there's a defender over there, and I'm like just trying to get closer to the site, they'll hear my sprint all the way from this window because it's so loud. Whereas if there are other explosions going off while you're crouched, then you have a much more significant advantage by crouching closely. And the good thing about one thing, hopefully they talk about this later in this tutorial, but when you're walking or crouching and not sprinting, you're able to keep your gun up, right? So when you're clearing corners and stuff, you want to make sure that you're kind of on the window and you're clearing areas like that, because if you're sprinting and then someone's right around this corner, you have to wait for your gun to come up and you might lose that gunfight.
If you need to, you can go prone to lay low.
This position can also help steady your aim and give you a situational advantage.
Try it with this dart. Nicely done. Your next lesson is through these obstacles. Make
Okay.
your way to the ping.
So teaching you to go prone. Obviously when you're drop shotting, this is something that they don't show, but when you're dropping, you can't ADS. So I'm right now holding right click, but it doesn't ADS until you fully hit the ground. So this has kind of removed drop shotting, which was around in year 1, but it is still possible on some operators. You can still shoot while you're dropping. You just can't be fully accurate while ADSing.
Hold up. The target's facing away from you. If you walk up slowly, you can greatly reduce the noise you make and avoid exposing your position.
All right, so this is teaching you just how to slow walk. You can see this is a normal walk, and then if you hold Alt, you can see the noise meter.
Sneak up close.
No sprinting. The target here.
I didn't sprint.
The element of surprise.
I didn't sprint!
Sneak up close, and you can take out the target.
Okay,
with
so you
a
have to
melee
walk
attack.
slowly the entire time, and then melee.
You accomplished the
Wow.
lot. Now get to that door.
If you need to, run. Otherwise, keep it down. So this is a barricade. I want you to go through it.
This is a barricade.
A few melee attacks should get the job done.
Every
There's
time
a
you
target on the other side.
hit a
They're
door,
partially
it's
hidden,
3 breaks.
So aim carefully.
Go for the head.
Perform a headshot.
Headshot.
Boom.
One headshot is enough to eliminate any opponent.
Yep, that's the
There's a
one cool thing
target
about
in the room
Siege.
to your right, protected by bulletproof glass.
And a wooden wall next to it. You've seen these, but this one has no holes in it. Here's the trick. You can shoot through this kind of surface to take out a target on the other side. Told you. Target is no more. You're learning to use your environment to your advantage. Good job.
So if you ever have a red ping or even a yellow ping, which we haven't gotten to yellow pings yet, it looks like, then you can pre-fire
Your
people through
breaching
soft
hammer
walls.
should do the trick here.
That breaching hammer is Sledge's unique ability.
Every operator has their own unique ability. You should learn how they function and interact.
But for now, smash that wall.
See, the middle mouse button is still my unique ability. I haven't changed it from the default, but you can see how that pulls out the sledgehammer or whatever
Check your compass. It
gadget
indicates
it
what
is.
room and floor you're in.
Now to drop down, you need to find a hatch. There's one in the corner. Break it now.
Your compass updates automatically.
All right, so I've
when
kind
you
of
change
skipped it,
location.
figuring I had nowhere else to go.
Communication
Go
between
down the hatch,
is essential.
break it, and this is
Compass
something
will
that they're
display
showing.
things and help you relay your location.
Apply your knowledge to break through to the next room. Pinged behind the bulletproof glass.
Feel free to experiment with your unique ability, melee attack, and firearms.
All right, so this is kind of good. I'm I'm a teacher in real life, and they're basically just doing scaffolding, right? They're showing you how to do it step by step. We all do it together, and now it's gotten to the point where you have to do it on your own. So I have to somehow reach this room. I obviously can't go through this bulletproof glass, can't go through this. So using the sledgehammer, you've got one option, which is going to be that. And one thing, if you ever pick a sledge, I think sledge is one of the best beginning operators. So you can sledge partially in the like kind of at the knee height of a wall, and it can make it walkable on most surfaces. It takes some time to perfect it, but it's something that you can possibly do. So I'm gonna sledge this as well. And then every time you're using your hammer, try to get some cover right away, because there's a split second you'll see where your gun is not out, so it takes a little while. So if you're sledging anything, and don't just like stand in front of the window like this, because you can see I would have been shot by this enemy over here, whereas if I sledged the window and got cover, I would have been fine. So looks like that's bulletproof glass.
Take a look
Vault
at this
in.
target behind the bulletproof glass.
You won't be able to get it with your firearm or melee attack. Time to learn about gadgets. All operators have these, but you can only carry one variety at a time.
In this case, you have frag grenades. Throw one above the bulletproof glass to eliminate the target.
There you go. We're almost done. Find the next hatch to go through.
All right, so that's pretty nice that they teach you how to throw things over the wall. One thing that you'll notice in Siege in general is even if a wall is reinforced, if it's on the inside, generally there's going to be a bar at the top where you can shoot out. You can shoot out a hole, and then you can throw a nade over. So if there's bandits on the wall or mute on the wall, you'll be able to throw a grenade and make it land on the other side in order to get rid of it. So now we have to make our way, find the hatch, we have to go down it.
Time to apply your learnings. Eliminate all targets. Good luck. If
All
you
right.
need a refresher, check the control layout.
So we have to eliminate all these targets. This guy's behind bulletproof glass, but if we look at the surroundings, it's pretty much a hard wall everywhere, a hard surface, but there is this drone hole. So what are you gonna have to do? You're gonna have to cook your nade, and then you throw it through the drone hole. And I didn't kill him in one shot. So I have to do it again. Still not killing him? What is this? Excuse me? I'm getting scammed. Okay, so that one's eliminated. We've got one on the hatch here. Okay.
Eyes low. There's a hole you can shoot through.
Oh, so I have
If
to...
you're careful, a frag grenade
Wow.
can go through as well.
So I have to kill two, and then it lets me kill this guy. Oh, okay. I see how it is. Are you... Is this guy impenetrable? Hello? Finally. It shouldn't take that many nades, by the way.
You can crouch and lean at the same time.
Okay.
Those muscles.
Yeah, crouch and lean. Oh, and guess what? Something that Sledge can do. This is a soft floor. So look at that. We can make a little hole and then
Basic training
kill him
is
with Vert.
complete. We'll be there to guide you through
Vert
the
is something that you'll want to use all the
Might be
time.
ready for your first mission. Soon.
Yay, we're done with the first tutorial. Woo! Good job, guys. All right, so we go back into the tutorials, and now we're heading into attack.
Welcome back to training. In Siege, matches are asymmetrical. There are attackers and defenders. I'll show you the ropes on how to win while attacking. Your objective as an attacker is to find and defuse one of two bombs. Or you could just eliminate all defenders. This time, you'll be Thermite. His unique ability will help you take things a step further. You'll first be deployed on the map as a drone. Let's start.
All right, we get to be Thermite.
Here we are. Your drone is an essential observation tool. Move around, see what you can find.
All right, so here, moving around, you move around, you look around with your mouse, WASD. It's not letting me jump yet, but guess what? I found a drone hole. So it's letting me look around. I can't go under that door yet. It's just letting me drone back and forth.
Good.
I have to go to the yellow ping. Nice.
Small holes like this one.
All right, so I've got to go through the drone hole that I've already gone through.
Can propel itself into a jump if you need to.
And you
Go
get
up
a
and over this wall.
nice little ledge. You can jump on top of things. Nice little drone parkour.
See the target? Scan it to mark its location. Be aware that scanning alerts the target. They'll know someone's
Yep.
spying on them.
So
You can also use location pings like the ones I've been placing to guide you. These don't alert enemies. Ping the security camera above.
where's the security camera? Okay, there it is.
You'll notice contextual pings give specific intel on what you ping to your teammates, like the camera icon here. Now, ping that barbed wire over there. You can use it on empty locations too. Ping here on top of mine.
Of course, I've got to move my drone.
We got intel. Now it's time to find the bombs. They'll look like the image on your comms display. Good luck, Specialist.
All right, gotta drive my drone upstairs. Oh my god, I found the bomb.
Usually bombs are placed in adjacent rooms, as you can see here through the bulletproof glass. You'll want to place your drone somewhere safe. Thank me later. Since the shelf is high, I suggest you look up when you jump to propel yourself higher.
All right, so you use your drone, you look up, and you can get on the shelf. Apparently, I have to be in the middle of the shelf, right here. Wouldn't it be better to be on top? Come on.
Nice jump.
So I've got to
Getting there, Specialist.
follow the yellow
Turn around
pings
and
for
look
the
at ping
tutorial.
I placed. Your drone looks like the target spotted your drone.
And that's why you don't put it on the middle of the shelf. Okay, Zero? All right, thermite. They gave me
When the
quite possibly the worst
preparation
sight, but
phase
hey,
ends, you'll be able to defuse
it's okay.
one of the bombs. You need the diffuser for that. And right now, you don't have it in hand.
well, where the
You'll have to get it from the rooftop this time. Move over to that wall and I'll show you how to get up there. You can
Make sure you
rappel on
follow
both
the yellow
outside
pings.
walls when standing near them. Get to the rooftop. Well done.
You
Now,
use your space
pick
bar
up the
to hold
diffuser
it and
over
repel.
there. Without it, you're not likely to win.
All right, so technically you can, if you're far away, you should be able to hit F,
Suggest you destroy the security camera I
but
pinged.
they do have a change where you can just run over the top of it. All right. One thing that even high ranks struggle with is shooting default cams. So we need to make sure that when you're in game, you start shooting cams.
Busy? Try change. All right, you'd better gather some intel before breaking in. Don't want the defenders taking you by surprise. You lost your first drone, but every attacker carries a second one to use during the action phase. You should scout for intel before going in. Destroy the barricade so you can throw your drone in.
Okay, so most of the time, if you're destroying a window, you probably don't want to break it entirely. I think the tutorial is making you do that, but
Now you're free to
you
look
can
around,
make
and
sure that
scan
you're
and
only
find some intel
breaking
you can use.
enough of the window so they can't actually just jump out. Because if you break the entire thing, if somebody's close, it just gives them a chance to run out the window and jump out on you. So if you are trying to drone through a window, only break part of the window rather than breaking the entire thing. Right, so we walk in, we see some barbed wire, we've got a default cam up here. This wall is reinforced and muted. Oh no, there's a mute jammer here. That just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why there would be a mute jammer here. Is there a way that I can get
Looks
around
like
it?
You stumbled on a signal disruptor.
Nope.
Don't worry, your drone hasn't been destroyed, just jammed. If you want it back, you'll need to pick it up. Once you enter, destroy as many defender devices as you can. Getting them out. It's your first time. If there's no barbed wire, removing defender observation
All right, so
tools will
obviously
reduce your odds
the
of
reason
being
why you would
detected.
destroy wire here right away is because it slows you down and you already know that this is all reinforced. That door is barricaded. So if you are in a spot where you know you can't get shot from, then just get rid of the utility that's around you, shoot the cam, and then of course we need to
Now
shoot
there's
that
no
mute jammer.
signal disruptor. You're free to pick up your drone. Safe and sound.
All right, I can't pick up my drone. Okay.
Remember the bombs? One of them's bound to be behind this
This is
wall,
ridiculous,
since
man.
it's reinforced. Defenders will sometimes reinforce breakable surfaces to prevent breaching. Luckily for you, Thermite's unique ability is one step ahead. Open the operator guide and check out how the exothermic... In theory, you should know how to breach this wall now.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna keep you waiting. So there's some tips if you are using a thermite. Some things that you need to know about. If, for example, this wall is open at the top, that means the defenders are probably going to try to throw C4s or impact trick. So if you see these holes at the top, there's one thing that you're going to want to do, and you're going to want to crouch. So you can see on the bottom left, I'm crouching up and down, standing versus crouched. And if you see those holes at the top, you want to put it at the bottom. Right? So that's essentially going to stop any impacts from hitting the top here and breaking your thermite charge. The other thing that you're going to want to do, this is just like a quick teaching with thermite, kind of off on a tangent, but essentially, if you put the wall, or if you put the breach in the middle, like this, if you do that, then whoever is on the other side, whether they have a bandit or a Cade, right? Someone who has electricity, they can just bandit or Cade one side of the wall and that will destroy it because this charge is on two walls. So normally, if they have a bandit on the board or if they have impact tricks on the board, you want to be aware of what's happening, right? So this is just kind of adding to this tutorial. Obviously, in this tutorial, they have no bandit, they have no impact tricks. It's just bots that we're going up against. But these are some things that you want to think about if you're thermite, and you need to make sure that you're paying attention. All right, so if they do have a bandit, let's just say imaginary, they're not impact tricking, those holes don't exist. They're not bandit tricking. We're just going to say we're one side of the wall, because we can see that this is where the split is, right? That's the divide. So if we do it on one side of the wall, if they had a bandit and he tries to trick this side, he wouldn't get the charge, right? So I can open up, and he's not going to be able to get it because he's putting his bandit battery there.
What's on the other side?
Right?
Sound familiar?
So
Here's the bomb you found before.
we found the second bomb.
It's important that you know how to improvise a path to your destination. Let's defuse this bomb. This room has a lot of lines of sight, though. You'll need some way to hide. Throw your secondary gadget, the smoke grenade, near the bomb. If you need any tips, the operator guide is there for you.
All right, so we're going to throw this gadget. I don't know if that's going to count.
Plant the diffuser in the smoke near the bomb.
Okay, so when it's telling you plant in the smoke near the bomb, what it means is not in the smoke itself, right? But instead, you're going to want to plant behind this, right? So the smoke has disappeared. I'll throw another smoke just to show you, but the smoke, its main purpose is to cover line of sight, right? So imagine there are enemies in this room, which I imagine there are. See, there's one there, there's one there, there's probably one in this side room here. But the purpose of this smoke is to make sure that it covers that line of sight, right? So now they can't see anything, and they would have to push all the way through unless they have a warden. But you still want to plant behind this bomb chassis, because otherwise they just shoot through the smoke, luckily, and kill you,
Until it
right?
expires, you have to protect the diffuser from defenders who will try to disable it.
So
Hostiles are on the move.
one thing that you want to do is set up a drone as well, because somebody can watch it and tell you if they're defusing.
You hear that? Someone's
And you
trying
can
to
wait.
disable your diffuser. Take them out before it's too late.
So normally you're just going to be holding kind of passively here. So I don't know if they're going to be coming from outside there. I'm just going to be kind of holding this angle, waiting. If I hear someone start defusing, then I'm ready. So he heard me move. He's just kind of ticking. What some things will, or what people will do mostly, is try to fake it a couple times. So you can see even when I sprint towards him, the bot gets off, right? But we're still meant to... Not a headshot, even though his head went tink. That'll happen in Rainbow Six. But this is something that you can try as well, right? He can see the drone. He's trying to shoot it. He went prone. Not a headshot.
Defused. You win your first round as an
Hitter
attacker.
edge is amazing.
Next up, Mira will cover defending.
All right, and I guess that's it for attacking. I do like it because it kind of shows you that the goal is to try to get a plant down. Right? It's not team deathmatch. You're not trying to kill all the enemies. Of course, it made you eliminate 5 opponents there at the end, but it does kind of teach you that the goal of the game is to use teamwork, use the gadgets, and try to get a plant down. So I think the tutorial so far is pretty solid. All right, so we've already done attack, we've already done the basics. Now let's head into the defense tutorial.
Welcome again, Specialist. This is your final training before field deployment. Together, we'll look at how to win as a defender. Opposite to attackers, your goal is to defend the bombs until the timer expires, or until you eliminate all opponents. For this one, you're Bandit. His unique ability will help you secure your position. Let's get started, shall we? First things first. Setting up your defenses is key. If you have a good setup, attackers will have a hard time making it to the bomb. Zero told you about breaching reinforcements. Now you need to put them up.
All right, so now we have to reinforce certain things. So the 2 walls that they're asking you to reinforce, probably a good idea. This is an exterior room, and the attack could push through here, and it's not between the sites. So these 2 reinforcements are a good idea.
Reinforcing outer walls like this places a barrier between you and the attackers. When you have breakable walls between bombs, the best thing to do is to breach them. This creates an option for your team to freely defend both sides as needed. You don't have a gadget for destruction right now, so I suggest you use your shotgun.
All
A
right.
weapon with high destruction capacity always does the trick.
Right, so anytime you have a shotgun, even if you have impacts, if you have someone with a shotgun, they should be the ones making the rotations. They're going to ask me to make it here in the middle of the wall. I think it might be better on the side. It really depends. I don't know what's on the other side of this wall, so we'll make the rotate where they are asking.
For rotation, go through it.
And you can make it either a standing rotate or a crouch rotate.
Corridors, right? Now you have a shortcut to reinforce the second bomb site.
All right, so it looks like we've got to reinforce these. Doesn't look like there's anything that... So we can see these walls here are exterior walls. So most of the time on most bomb sites, you're going to want to reinforce walls that are touching the outside.
Time to barricade. Remember to use the rotation opening to save some time. In the field, you will need it.
Okay. Barricading windows and doors. Personally, doing this, I don't know if it'll take it back to 0 out of 2, but I don't know if I would do that. Maybe it would be fine because we have this little spot over here. I'm just looking at this site. You can't vault up here, so it's not really ideal. Let's see if you can vault from this side. No, it doesn't let you vault. Basically, when you're breaking down a site, you want to make sure that there aren't ways where you can just give them free map control. And I think opening up this door might not be the best idea. I think if you had like a shield, or if it was a castle, it would be fine. But if you barricade that door and they drone it out and they see this is free, people can't stand up there, they would just kind of, they would take this area for free. All right, so they would just kind of walk in and they would be able to open this wall directly on the site. And anything here is, there's no vertical on it. Right, so I don't know if barricading that is the best. I think on some maps, like Skyscraper, you can get away with barricading certain windows and doors if it's far away from the map.
This was a bomb site when you were here with Zero. It's important to remember that every map has several bomb sites. Barricades can slow down attackers, and they also block off lines of sight. But remember that you don't want to block a path you'll need as a defender. Hatches can also be reinforced, which is useful against opponents that try to break in from above. Go to this pinged hatch as you learned before. Attackers used drones last time you dealt with some barbed wire. You can deploy them now. They usually slow down opponents, but Bandit can do something more.
Okay, so it's asking you to put it in this spot. And personally, I think that's a bad idea. Because what happens if you put the wire on the landing? All the person has to do is this. Did you even hear any wire? No. So I can't pick it up. Nice. So if you are going to be placing wire, place it on a part that the person has to cross, right? If you put it in the middle of these stairs, whether they go by on the side, there's going to be some sort of noise, right? So you can see even passing by the side, there's noise. But if it's in the middle of a staircase, even like alt walking, you can tell there's literally no sound, right? The purpose of barbed wire is either to slow them down or to get a sound cue that they're hitting it. It's not even letting you destroy it, right? But in a spot like this, don't do that. Don't do that. You place it somewhere where they're going to hit it.
Good setup, Specialist. Time to discover Bandit's unique ability.
I don't-
The shock wire. Open the operator guide for the details.
I guess it's okay in front of a window and they're forced to actually be in the wire for a little while. That's fine. But for this wire, make sure it's on the stairs, either in the middle of the stairs on the upper side or the lower side. That way it forces the attackers to actually make some noise. All right, we have to press F10. We got to see the guide. Okay, we're Bandit. We get
With
4
that,
batteries.
You should know how to do it. Deploy your shock wires near the pinged reinforced walls to electrify. As you raid, electricity prevents attackers from breaching reinforcements. Now you know how to counter what you learned with Zero. You can also place your device on the barbed wires you previously deployed. Electrify the one I pinged.
All right, so yes, this is something you can do. There was actually a time where Bandit was given 3 barbed wires. And he was able to put Bandit charges on each of those wires because he only had 3 batteries at the time. And they removed his barbed wire back down to 2 and gave him 4 batteries instead. So one thing that they've changed as well, I'll see if they let me do it here. You're able to put 2 bandits on one wall, which is perfect for impact tricking. So or not impact tricking, but bandit tricking. So that one I can't pick up for some reason. Can't pick up any of these. So say this wall is electrified, and then all of a sudden they throw a Thatcher EMP. So you can be here waiting to see as soon as that EMP goes off, then you can use your bandit, right? So they'll think, oh, the wall's going to be safe because we've got that EMP, but turns out it's not. So this could be super useful on certain sites like chalet basement or canal top floor, but that's essentially where bandit tricking is going to be very useful. It's a year 1 trick, but it's still super nice.
For it to pass unharmed. Told you. Electricity also
Made it
destroys
impossible
most
because it
devices.
couldn't just jump
More
over.
drones are coming. Destroy
My
them
goodness.
all. There can be up to 5 during preparation phase.
All right, we have to find the remaining drones. So we've got to look for a drone in here. Let's see. Where could it be? Oh, it's driving right to you. That happens a lot in ranked, actually. The drones do drive right to you. It shouldn't, but... And then they ping it for you. Something that you'll want to notice is obviously when you're checking for drones, they're going to be in places that are hidden. It's not going to be too obvious. It'll probably be in higher spaces or very low spaces underneath something. Right, so that's where you're gonna want to check. Obviously, this one is kind of hidden behind this light.
Prepare yourself for the attacker's assault. Go to the ping and prone there, and we'll enter action phase.
All right, so I have to lay exactly on this spot, which exposes me to the window. I would try to hide more to the left if you're going to be a rat like this.
So you can prepare your defensive strategy. Since you're in a relatively safe place, feel free to switch to the observation tools.
I'm not safe. It made me stop here, but if you like crawl 1 meter or less to the left, you're much safer.
You destroyed security cameras with zero previous. Apart from security cameras, defenders can bulletproof cameras are a gadget that is a bit more advanced than your average security camera.
So you can see you've got 1 to 3 to change between the cams, and then Q and E to change between the cams on that same level. All right, so there's a drone there, and this is something that I rarely see people use, but you can use this EMP on drones, whether it's a Bravo drone, Twitch drone.
Now ping, great. Time to identify the attackers.
All right.
Go to the observation tools and see if you can spot them all.
All right, so you've got that. Let's see, do we have any more over here? They've opened up this wall. Oh, we got 3 heading here.
Attempting to defuse the bomb. Can you see them?
Yes, I can.
There they are. They activated the diffuser. You're gonna have to stop them. Time to get into action.
All right, time to get into action.
Before the bomb can be fully diffused. Keep an eye on the time.
Oh. So, should have known that they're on the stairs. Luckily, shotguns are buffed.
But the bomb is still being diffused. Until you deactivate the diffuser, they still have a chance to win. Hurry.
Hurry. And it takes seven seconds to defuse.
You completed your first simulated round as a defender. You're ready for the field, Specialist.
Yeah, that was my mistake. When you're leaving here, obviously check the stairs before you go into the room where they planted, because we had a cam that was watching them. All right, and it looks like when you finish the tutorials, you unlock 10 operators. So you get most of the the Pathfinder ops, right? So the ones that you unlock at the beginning, and if you already own them, I assume you get 1,000 renown. So if you already own all these ops, then you do get 10,000 renown just for finishing the tutorials. And it's to be honest, my review of this it's pretty solid. It is missing some things, but for the most part, I think it's very good for beginners, right? There are some things that are very niche that people will learn over time, but it is a good starter for any new player. All right, and of course you also have the operator specialties that still exist. So if you finish the tutorials and then you still need to unlock more operators as a new player, you can go through the operator specialties and you can unlock all of these attackers and these defenders, right? So what Siege is doing, or what Ubisoft is doing in order to get new players into the game and learning the game, is quite good, because you've got Hibana here and it's got 3 levels. I can see them. We've got destroy barricades or hatches. You have to breach reinforced surfaces, and then if you score 0 points, obviously it's going to give you a certain amount of points by breaching reinforced surfaces. If you complete those in sequence, then you earn renown if you have the operator unlocked, or you earn the operator itself if you don't have them unlocked. So they introduced these in the previous season, and it is worth doing them. Even if you already have the operators unlocked, you get a free 10,000 renown. So pay attention to these challenges that you can complete. I do have another video that I've gone through each and every one of them on the live build, so you can see what you need to do for each operator. But when we look at the tutorials plus the operator specialties, they're doing a pretty good job of onboarding for new players. And for a game that's in year 8, that's going to be going into year 9 very soon, within 6 months, it's great for growth, and honestly pretty solid. And like I said, it is pretty solid for beginners. There are some things missing that I would have liked to see, maybe using different operators or throwing flashbangs. There's no discussion of team play. Everything's done solo, so maybe it would be cool if they could add some sort of duo or co-op missions where they have 2 operators that have good synergy that can work together and do these co-op missions together. I think that would be really cool, and it inspires team play, and that might help it move away from this TDM meta, so people start working together. You can either do it with a duo that you queue up with, or maybe if you just queue up and it might give you a random person that you have to work together with. So that might be something that they could do in the future. And another thing that they could probably improve is show more advanced techniques like impact tricking or bandit tricking. And I think that's something that they've set themselves up for, is because these are just basics on how to attack and defend. They can add intermediate and advanced advanced tutorials later, and I think that would be a huge help to all the new players that are joining the game, whether it's in year 7, year 8, year 9, and we can get players up to speed much faster because Siege is a very complex game. So with all of that being said, positive change for the game, but I can see room for improvement. And you finally made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.